Let's start off, man. Ja Morant, he got fined $75,000 because he don't know how to act. That's not really why. I actually think he's innocent, but he got fined $75,000 for his gun gesture. And, you know, he made a big shot against the Warriors and he started pulling triggers, pointing like the 3-ball thing that everybody is doing nowadays when they score from the 3-point line. But the NBA, they didn't really like this. So he did it a couple times, and apparently the league set out a warning for him in the game prior. I think it was against the Rockets and he did the same thing. Then it happened again with the Warriors, or maybe the other way around, but it happened twice, and the league said, we're done. You're getting fined $75,000. And I think he's innocent, because that's kind of wild to me that everybody in the league is doing it, but then Ja Morant is the one person that does it. And now all of a sudden he getting fined $75K. I think it's truly unfair to him.
I think it's a number of things. So Ja Morant, is the NBA being a little bit, kind of soft about it? Okay, but he's done this thing a lot of times, Manny. The gun gestures against the Pacers a year ago, where he pointed the beam, in the crowd. Then he's on Instagram Live with somebody who's really not his boy, recording a video of him with a gun. So it's the fact that he's had a history of these things that's why the NBA is like, okay, we need to step in and do something. Because if you think about all the way back to last year, he was suspended the first 25 games of the season. That's why last year was kind of, whatever year, like this year, they're kind of back to making a run. So it's a little bit soft, but I do think it's because of his prior actions. That's why the penalty was, the $75K.
Man, that's a lot of money, though, for something everybody in the league is doing. Like, I can understand if it was just him and he was the only person that was doing this celebration. But the thing why I find it wrong is, yes, he's got a history. I understand he was on Instagram Live showing guns and flashing guns, whatever. Like, yes, dead wrong. Absolutely deserved the suspension, deserves some sort of penalty. I get it. He's outside fighting kids at the park, and whatever else he was out there doing got him wind up suspended for some games and got him fined a couple bucks from the NBA. I understand it. But doing a gesture that everybody is doing, we see Malik Beasley hit a 3. Sometimes he point and then he blast off with his hand and whatever. We see so many guys in the league do it, and now everybody's shaking up and everybody's scared. I know you've seen the video. I think it was Marcus Sasser in that game. He hit a 3 and then was about to do that same thing, and he was like, whoa, no, I'm not about to get fined. Like, I'm not getting fined for that. Like, they just hit my man's with $75K. Like, I could see if they hit him with a $25K even, I would still say, okay, I understand. But a part of me think he got hit with that fine because it was just like, we warned you, and then you also pretty much ignored us. But what's crazier is he's continuing on to ignore them because he's been doing it in the past few games.
And he just keeps doing it. And the thing is, like, that's what I want people to understand. Ja Morant has a history of this behavior. That's why it's cost him money and, getting suspended. Now, honestly, $75K, that's a lot of money to us, or really anyone out in America that's not rich like him, with his contract. So, but still, like, to lose that much money, I think, is a lot. But with him, I think it's at a point in Ja Morant's career, they're going to critique every single thing he does moving on as far as celebrations, just because of, because not even just the gun celebration on the 3, he also did it to Buddy Hield, but what they didn't show, Buddy Hield did it to him first. So I do see what you mean. I do see what you mean. It's a double standard for sure.
It's insane. And, it becomes to a point, like anybody who's played pickup ball or organized ball, man, the first thing you do on defense is identify the shooter. You're trying to figure out who's the hot hand, who's the one that can make threes. So that's literally like what it is when you're going and you step on the court. So for someone to do that gesture, to everybody know what I'm talking about. I don't want to say it because I just know social media is gonna flag me for the words. So I'm being cautious as I can. But anybody who's played, you got to identify the shooter, and then you have to make sure that you stop them. Get a hand up. So if a guy is making threes and he's pointing at you and sending things your way after he made the 3, ain't nothing wrong with that. He just saying, hey, I'm the man with the hot hand. Like, I'm cool with that. I'm content with that. And I really do think it comes down to his history of not following the league policies and things like that. But also, it begins to get a little nitpicky because now they're putting that label on him as, all right, this guy's always a troublemaker. He's always doing the bad thing. He's never going to listen. And it's like, you can't really take that label off once it's already attached to your name in the NBA.
Oh, yeah. When you've done something numerous of times, I can see maybe if it was like once, But it's kind of like not to throw a random straight at Draymond. It's kind of like if
Oh yeah,
Draymond won a certain number of games without ejections or getting a technical foul. It's like we still
yeah,
look at him a certain way because of the prior past. That just doesn't get erased from history. We still look
yeah,
at you like that. So is Ja being treated unfair? I do believe a little bit, but I also do
absolutely.
think some of it, in my opinion, is on him because if they already told you once and not to do it, you just shouldn't do it. And two, when you have that prior record of like, hey, I've already been suspended for things like this on Instagram Live, with a gun and all that. It's like you just can't take that risk because they're already looking at you as a certain way, and it sucks, but that's the reality.
This is true. So now, furthermore, going into the Memphis Grizzlies, because obviously they got a lot more going on than just Ja Morant cutting up out there. And I do want to shed some light and give them some credit about the great basketball they've been playing. So right now, they're currently the number 8 seed. And they've been winning the past few games. They've been playing pretty solid. Ja's playing pretty good. On his part, you got Jaren Jackson there. And I think at this point, they're in playing position. But between I think it's number 5. I need to go back and look at it to be 100% sure. But between number 5 and all the way down to number 8, they're the same exact record. So in retrospect, the Grizzlies could jump all the way to the 5th seed by the end of the season if they continue on to play good basketball. Do you think this is even possible?
For the Grizzlies, yes. So, like, what's crazy
Okay.
about the West has been so competitive this year. Literally,
Mm-hmm.
3 through 8 is like separated by, I believe, at most 2.5 games or maybe 3. So, like, the Grizzlies could definitely get up, and it's really going to kind of depend on the play of John Morant and also
Yeah.
Desmond Bane, still one of the best shooters in the league to me. And
Mm.
Zach Edey has emerged as legitimate big, only just in his rookie year. So the
Yeah.
Grizzlies can, but it's also tough just because the West is so tough. You got the Clippers and Timberwolves. It's a lot of,
Man.
close games, but the Grizzlies can win out, but they're also going to need help from like the Warriors, other teams to lose as well. So it's
Yeah.
going to be a tight race, but I believe the Grizzlies will be in the playoffs.
Yeah, I definitely think they get in the playoffs. Whether they got to go through the play-in or not, Grizzlies is definitely a solid team. And I think an underrated aspect for the Grizzlies is the defensive part. They got the defensive candidate, defensive player of the year candidate over there in Jaren Jackson. And Jaren Jackson, honestly, you could make a case for him being the most improved player of the year as well, just because he's expanded his offensive game as well. Like we've seen him shoot threes and attempt to shoot threes, but now he's at the point where you really got to get a hand up if you see Jaren Jackson at the perimeter. And to me, he kind of reminds me of a guy like Miles Turner, how he's so impactful to the Indiana Pacers because he can kill you outside, he can kill you inside from the paint too. So I'm loving what I'm seeing from the Memphis Grizzlies. Like you mentioned, Desmond Bane, dude has been playing good. And whenever Ja Morant is not in the game, Desmond Bane is really the one who's stepping up and holding it down on the scoring toll. Even though he got dinosaur arms, he's still a pure bucket, man. And you got to respect it. You definitely got to respect it. So I think looking at the schedule of the Memphis Grizzlies and seeing who they have on the way out, they got about 5 games left on the way out. Charlotte Hornets, Timberwolves, Denver Nuggets, Dallas Mavericks. I think they solid. I think they can at least win definitely 4 or 3 of the 4. Only game that's really concerning me is that Denver Nuggets game.
I would say even the Timberwolves too, just because how
Yeah.
great Anthony Edwards has been playing. But the two that have
That's
to
true.
be for sure, after listening to what you just said, is the Hornets and the Mavericks. Those are 2 teams you got to be. What's crazy, even
Yeah.
with all the scrutiny with the Mavericks, they're still in the play-in as well. So
Mm-hmm.
the Grizzlies, what's interesting about them is great as the season that they've had. They were literally a 2 seed at one point. Obviously, the coach got fired. Now they could end up, in the play-in tournament, they could play the OKC Thunder in the round 1.
Woo.
And one thing that's interesting, I know this might be another point. OKC can legitimately play the Grizzlies in round 1 or the Timberwolves, the Clippers, or even Warriors. Like, that is just crazy with how stacked
Yeah.
the West is.
Yeah, that's so true, man. Like you said, all of them are pretty much a game apart. Going back to it and just looking at it again, they all look like a game apart. And you just don't know until, like you said, teams got to lose and some teams got to win out just to get the seeding in a specific way. But a potential matchup right now of Grizzlies, OKC, whew, that would be a lovely first round matchup to watch. Both young teams, both extremely talented. I think in that series, I would definitely go with OKC to win it, though. You guys, OKC as well? Okay.
Yeah. I'll say like in 6.
It's OKC in 6? Okay. I would agree with that. I would give them 6 games, too. Just because, they've been there before, and they've been rolling as well. Number 1 seed, hot right now. It would definitely be entertaining, and I think we see the series shift a little bit at some point, but push come to shove, I think I would go with OKC to go ahead and win that series and go to the next round for sure.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, you good. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I think it's just really interesting. And now, basketball at the beginning of the year, people were like, the ratings, all this stuff. But people are really getting into it now because how close this race is. So I think it's going to be a fantastic finish.
Absolutely, man. I'm excited to see it. And I can't wait, man. Playoffs are starting up soon. It's really only like for certain teams, they have less than 5 games left, which is just crazy. So it's going to be picking up soon, man. We're already in April. So, man, about a couple of weeks, and it's going to be it. All right, but anyway, look, man, leave us a quick take, 219-413-9405. If you want to just comment on anything you heard, you want to give your opinion on anything you heard, we'd be more than happy to play it on here. But don't go anywhere because we got some news for the run coming up in just a sec. Got to fill you in on some information that's happening in a bunch of different leagues, NBA, college basketball, MLB, and the NFL. So don't go anywhere. It's halftime. We'll be right back.